Hello, chess lovers around the world! It's been a long time without doing great videos in my English channel. Today we're gonna talk about the Tata Steel Chess India in the rapid section. So this is one of the best game happened in round number 8 between Super Grandmaster Guradi Vijit of India and Super Grandmaster Wesley So of USA. So what's the missing link? Let's get started. Vijit played e4, Wesley played e5, knight f3, knight c6, then bishop c4. Vijit decided to play bishop c4, the Gyoko piano system. Why not bishop b5? Maybe at the back of his mind, Wesley will play his favorite pet line, knight f6, the Berlin variation, and it's quite hard for white to grind the game or to win against the Blacks Berlin. That's why he decided to play bishop c4 to scramble a little bit in the position. Then Wesley played bishop c5, symmetrical development. b4. Vijit surprised Wesley with his Evans Gambit variation. Nowadays, this is a very rare variation to play. So nowadays, white simply plays d3 or even simply castles. But then let's proceed with the b4 Evans Gambit. Wesley simply captures the pawn, and then now c3, bishop a5, then d4. This is the main idea of the Evans Gambit, to attack the black center immediately as much as possible. Then Wesley played simply d6 to protect the e5 pawn. Why not e takes d4? So let's take a look on this a little bit. Then white will play queen b3 to attack the f7. And let's say queen e7 to protect the pawn on f7, then castle. All right? And if black is too greedy with the pawns with d takes c3, then knight takes c3. Obviously, white has the very strong move knight d5. Then if black eliminates the knight, then queen takes c3, knight f6, then bishop a3. Look at the superb developments for white. All right? And obviously, the black king stays longer at the center. And if black will play d6 here, then white has the brilliant move e5. Okay? And if knight takes e5, knight takes e5 obviously cannot take with the pawn because of winning the queen. And if queen takes e5, then simply rook fe1 wins the queen. All right? So in general, black will go to the very dangerous dark forest if he will grab too much pawns in the opening. All right, that's why Wesley simply played d6 here. Then queen b3 was played attacking the pawn on f7. Then Wesley played queen d7 here. Why queen d7? It looks like ugly because it blocks the diagonal bishop there. Because if queen e7, white has the very simple approach with d5 attacking the knight. And if the knight moves somewhere, like for example knight d8, then white could simply win with queen a4 check or queen b5, winning the bishop on a5. So it's winning for white. Okay? So that's why queen d7 to control the diagonal as much as possible. Then castle, bishop b6, irritating the pawn on d4, and then now knight bd2. So Vijit doesn't care about his d4 pawn. So he prioritized the pressure giving and attacking options, especially in the middle game. And then now knight a5. A very nice decision by Wesley. So to fork, attack, and to eliminate the bishop. Because if black will capture the d4, then c takes d4. And if black is greedy again, then knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, and rook b1, knight f6, knight f3. Attacking the bishop, and if bishop b6, then e5. Black is in big trouble in this position. D takes e5, bishop a3, avoiding the black to castle. Then knight takes e5 coming, rook ad1, rook fe1. Too much overloaded attack. So it becomes miserable for black in this position. Alright, so black should avoid too greedy with the pawns and simply to develop with knight a5, queen c2, knight takes c4, knight takes c4, then queen c6. Wesley attacks the knight, then eliminate the bishop, a takes b6, d takes e5, capture, capture, and queen a4. Obviously, Wesley is in under attack position So that's why he wants to exchange queen to lessen the pressure. And if you are in the attacking side, you should avoid it. Queen d3 to give more pressure and a lot of complications towards the black. Now, knight e7. So Wesley simply wants to play castle for king safety and queen g3. Vijit pressure the g7, then Wesley castles, and then now rook e1, simply to protect the hanging pawn on e4. So maybe you can ask a question here, why not bishop h6, threatening mate on g7? Because black has knight g6 simply. And knight takes g6, h takes g6, totally stop the coming queen takes g7, and with now tempo for to take the bishop, then bishop retreats back, then simply queen c4 to protect the pawn on c7. All right, so keeping an eye on the weak pawn on a2, c3, and e4. It's quite a little bit favorable for black. Good position for black. All right. So let's go back with rook e1, then bishop e6. This is the new ingredients in this opening theory, novelty of Wesley So. Because before, it was played with rook e8, simply to maybe knight g6, and the rook brings pressure a little bit on the e4 pawn. All right. And the game went drawn last 2021 between one of the super grandmaster of Uzbekistan, Sindarov, versus super grandmaster Erdos. All right, so let's proceed with the novelty bishop e6 and then now h4. Vijit doesn't care about his a2 pawn, so he wants to launch an attack with h5, h6, weakening the king side there, and immediately moves away from the very dangerous g file. Now h5 and obviously h6. Black has to block the h6 square. Otherwise, if white will allow to play h6, it weakens the dark squares and it becomes very dangerous for the black king. All right, that's why Wesley played h6 and then bishop f4, develop rook a5. So maybe Wesley wants to play with rook fa8, tripling the control along the a file, and then now rook a d1. Again, Vijit doesn't care about the pawn on a2 and he wants to concentrate the more focused subject on the position. Now queen takes a2 and knight f3, threatening the pawn on c7, and rook takes h5. Finally, removes the dangerous pawn there that keeps the black cramp in the king side. Now bishop takes pawn, knight g6, and bishop takes pawn again. Then king h7, so simply to improve a little bit, and then now bishop d4, freezing the knight for moving somewhere because of queen takes g7 coming, threatening machas. And now rook e8, rook a1 attacks the queen, queen c4, rook a7, queen c6 protects the pawn, rook a1. According to Stockfish, this is a risky move. Better was knight d2. Yeah, to keep on moving and progressing a little bit. Yeah, rook a1. Let's proceed. Bishop d7, threatening rook takes e4. And then now simply knight d2 to protect the pawn on e4. And obviously, the knight moves away from the g5 square control. Then rook g5. This is a great chance to attack the queen. Queen h2, then f5. Very good move by Wesley. So tripling the pressure on the e4 pawn. And then now rook a5. So pinning the rook there. So black is not able to capture the pawn on e4 because of the coming rook takes g5. Okay, so cannot capture because of the pin. Now b5 to blocks the pin on the 5th rank. And rook a7. Now f takes e4. So black successfully gets the pawn on e4. And then now queen c7 was played and it's a blunderacious. Better was rook c7 according to the computer engine. But here, queen c7 was played and Wesley surprised with knight f8 was played. So at this point, blunderacious also. He missed the missing link. What is the excellent move that Wesley's missed in this position? Can you guess? I'll give you a couple of seconds to pause. After that, we will continue the game. Start. Thank you very much for your effort and congratulations for the move. E3, excellent move. Threatening queen takes g2 immediate mate. Now, if queen takes c6, black has e takes d2. Excellent move again. Hanging two rooks. Now, rook d1, according to the engine's continuation. Because if rook takes e8, then d1 promotes to queen, king h2, rook h5 check, king g3, then ends up the game with queen g4, machas. Mate in English, machas in my native language. This is my own commonly used when it comes to mate word, machas. All right. So, let's proceed with the other continuation. And let's proceed with rook d1. Then, black could simply rook e1 check, king h2, then rook takes d1, queen f3. Why? Because if, like for example, queen takes d7, then black has brilliant move sacrifice again, rook h1 check. Then if king takes rook, rook h5 check first. So white is forced to block his queen. Otherwise, if king g1, then d1 queen, machas. Alright? So queen h3, then d1 queen, king h2, rook takes h3, then simply winning for black, obviously. Alright? Winning the queen. So very easy for black to continue. Let's go back. So white has to go back with the queen f3 after rook e1, king h2, rook takes, queen f3, and then rook e1. If rook takes d7, knight h4. To attack the queen, to protect the g7 with rook takes g7 coming, and queen d3 check, simply king g8. And black still with d1 coming promotion. Now g3. Why? Because if white captures the pawn on d2, then black has rook takes g2 check, king h3, then rook h1, another machas. Too much dead. Deadly move. All right. Now, let's go with the g3. Now here, if white will play rook d8 check, then king f7, rook d7 doesn't help the position because of king e8. And if desperately move the rook, sacrifice with rook d8 check, then simply capture. Bishop f6 check, king e8. Then if bishop takes rook, then simply d1 queen. Queen takes b5, then king f7, queen b7 check, then king g8 until the king reach his own room. And to protect himself, then the rook h1 is waving at this position, at this moment. All right? So there's no way for black or for white to destroy with the checks. Doesn't help. So checking g8. Let's proceed with g3. And then now if g3, simply black will promote into queen. And is there something else that white could do in this position? If capture, then rook g4 attacks the pawn, and if king h3, then h5, threatening rook h1, so he has to go back again, and now b4. All right, so of course, if cannot capture the pawn on b4 because the bishop is hanging. All right, and then black has b takes c3 or even push in the future. So black is winning here. So let's go back. All right, so those are the moves and lines in the missing link that Wesley missed in the position. Let's go back. After queen c7, Wesley played knight f8 and capture, bishop e3. Miss a lot of opportunity. Black can no longer push his pawn to attack the g2 because it's already blocked with a strong bishop. Now rook d5, rook c7, bishop d7, then rook a1, knight e6, attacking the rook, rook b7, rook d3, attacking the pawn, then rook a7, doubling the attack on bishop, bishop c6, then rook e7, simply simplifies the position, then bishop d5 to protect the knight, then knight takes e4, then Wesley played king g6 here, because if bishop takes e4, then simply takes the knight on e6. So it's about equal. It's an opposite colored bishop, so there's no progress at all. Now let's go back with king g6, knight d6, rook takes, knight takes, rook b3 attacks the knight, then simply offering an exchange, capture, capture, then rook b7 to protect the pawn on g7, of course, then capture, capture. Obviously, it's an elementary drawn endgame. Opposite colored bishop with the same number of pawns. It's a deadly drawn endgame. What do you think the reason why Wesley so missed that move? So can you please comment in the comment section below? So by the way, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you learned from it, and I hope a little bit enjoyment and entertainment. And please bear with my English grammar because I have no practice yet in my English conversation. In writing, yes, I'm a little bit knowledgeable because yeah, I learned English, of course, in my schooling. But then when it comes to conversation, I need to practice in a daily basis so that I can speak fluently like my native language. So please forgive me, bear with my English. And I do believe that you can understand me a little bit in the flow of my game. But then I believe someday I can deliver it smoothly like my own native language. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't yet subscribed in my channel, please do subscribe. And click the notification bell all for every time that I have my streaming, upload videos, it will notify you. Thank you very much. See you next time.